This song, everybody, that we're about to sing, the words are V'haviotim el har kachi, they'll bring them to my holy mountain. And on my holy mountain, they'll be rejoicing with one another. And so we sounded the sound of the shofar because in the holy temple in Jerusalem, the shofar was blown whether it was Shabbat or whether it was the regular day of the week. And tonight is Shabbat. And for a moment, it was the Beit HaMikdash. So we invite you to sing with us as we enter the holy mountain together at Rosh Hashanah. Chilly. It gets warmer when you sing. You guys want to watch this? It's amazing. Ready? So it's Shabbat, everybody. As you all know, Friday night. So we turn to page 7. As we sing a song for Shabbat, everybody, get Shabbos, get Shabbos. Shabbos. Shabbos, get Yantiv, get Yantiv, Shabbat Shalom. Special song, a psalm on page 7. Oh, Mizmor, Shir Yom HaShabbat. Mizmor, Shir Yom HaShabbat. Mizmor, Shir Yom HaShabbat. Mizmor, oh, Shir Yom HaShabbat. Barely walked in the room and we're already singing and we're dancing. We're on page 7, bringing in Shabbat before we bring in Rosh Hashanah. Please join us on page 7. On the top of page 8, Tzadik. Tzadik Kata'amah. On the bottom of page 8, Mikolot Ma'im Rabbi Madirim, Mishbere Yam Madir B'Maram Adonai, Eido Secha Nemnu Leveischa Nava Kodesh, Adonai Leorech Yamim. As we transition from Shabbat into Chag, into Rosh Hashanah. How many of you were here with us last year at this time? Yeah, amazing. If you weren't here with us last year, we're so happy you're here with us tonight. Welcome. We were together last year for this beautiful verse that Ariel wrote music for and added some of her own words, focusing on wonder. Do you remember that? Hayi Palei, is anything too wondrous? This wonderful moment where God says to us, really small mind, small miracles, big mind, big miracles. So as we move from Shabbat to Rosh Hashanah, from last year to this moment, we revisit that beautiful moment together. Hayi Palei.
Hayi Palei Adonai Dava. Hayi Palei Adonai Dava. L'moed Ashur
service begins on page 9. מלך העולם אשר בדברו מעריב ערבים וחוכמה בדרשו.
חי וקיים, תמיד ימלוך עלינו לעולם ועד. ברוך אתה אדוני,
ברכו ברוך שמו. Page 10. As we enter the Shema, the listening prayer, our tradition teaches, we always have to pass through a door called the door of love. So what love have you brought with you this evening? What love have you brought in your heart? What love sits next to you, around you? Even a moment of bringing awareness to love can increase our love quotient. Avat Olam Beit Yisrael, for my mother and father, for my teachers and my friends, for my fellow prayer leaders tonight, for the love of this community and for the love of this tradition. Beit Yisrael Amchavta, Torah u'mitzvot chukim mishpatim, otanu Leimadeta, Kein Adonai Eloheinu, B'shochveinu, when we go to sleep and when we wake up. Nasiach b'chukecha, v'nismach b'divei Toratecha, u'b'mitzvotecha le'olam va'ed. Ki hem chayenu, orech yameinu, u'vahem negeh yomam. והלילה ואהבתך אל תשים ממנו לעולמים. ברוך אתה אדוני, ברכו ברוך שמו.
בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם מאוד על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובישעריך.
Continue on page 12, והיין שמוע, תשמעו המצוותיי, אשר אני מצווה. בכל ונתתי את ארצכם ויתויו מקוש עשתה דגנך ותירושך ויצריך. Place these words on your heart and place them in your soul to bind them as a sign on your arms. Meditate on these words, live by these values, teach them to your children and speak with them when they're walking in the למען ירבו ימי ויאמר אדוני אל משה לאמור דבר אל בני ישראל ואמרת עליהם ויעשו להם מציצית על כנפי ידיהם. היה לכם לציצית on page 13 in the middle of the page ראיתם אותו וזכרתם את כל מצוות אדוני ועשיתם אותם ולא תטרו אחרי לבבכם שהוצאתי אתכם מארץ ישראל מלאת לכם לאלוהים.
אדוני אלוהיכם אמת.
אמת מכל זאת. In the morning and in the evening, whenever we say the Shema, the very next word after we finish and say Adonai Elohechem, like we say Yud-Heh-Vav-Heh, Yahweh, your God, right? We then immediately place truth there because the Hebrew word truth is remarkable. It begins with the first letter of the Hebrew alphabet and it ends, its third letter is the last letter of the Hebrew alphabet, as if to say truth has a beginning and it also has an end. It's the whole story. It's the A to Z. It's seeing as many angles as possible. And we try to be truthful, but we're not the truth. The truth. Amen. So the Israelites, in the midst of the worst moments in Egypt, could not have imagined that one day their children would build a kingdom in Israel. They were thinking, oh, here it is. It's going to be like this forever. We're never getting out. They were just at the, they were at F. They weren't yet at Z, They had their small truth, their one letter that they were holding, but they didn't see the whole story. So emet, truth and faith always have to go together because the truth is much bigger than what you see in the moment, and faith is what gives you that sense that you're only seeing a little part of it, Just two letters, one letter. What do we know? So we had emunah, we had faith, we had trust. And one day, our great-great-grandmother, Miriam, and her younger brother, Moses, they stood at the Reed Sea and they said, you see, it's split. We told you. You can imagine at this moment, as we turn towards the new year, there are a lot of those moments for all of us, individually and collectively. We don't know. What's M going to be like? What's P going to be like? O, Z, Y, W, who knows? But the Jewish tradition says, with absolute conviction, born of years of experience, we'll sing a new liberation song. That's the promise. Let's sing one now together. On the bottom of page 14. Mi chamocha.
Mi chamocha.
Mi chamocha.
Ba'elim Adonai.
Ba'elim Adonai.
Mi kamocha.
Mi kamocha.
Nedar bakodesh.
No.
אתה אדוני
Baruch Hu Baruch Shemo. Page 15. Feels so good to look out at all of you. I just have to say that. It's like amazing. I know almost all of you. And those who I don't know, I'm telling you, I'm so happy to be looking and seeing all of you singing and being here. Whether you're from born into the tribe, or you're just joining tonight, or you joined the tribe some other way, you're part of our tribe tonight and throughout the Chag. And I think this prayer on page 15 is universal. It's kind of the way we speak about it, but who in the world wouldn't want to pray this prayer, which is, God, help everybody to rest tonight with peace. Let their comings and goings be for the sake of peace. Protect them, shelter them, watch over them. We pray this together. Hashkivenu. ופרוס עלינו סוכת שלומך, ברוך אתה אדוני הפורש סוכת שלום. עלינו יעל כל עמו ישראל ועל כל יושבי תבל. ועל ירושלים. Please rise, everyone. Vishamru on page 17. Vishamru. חצי קדיש על פשעתים יתגדל יתקדש שמי רבה
אמן.
ויעלמה דברי חירוסי ויעליך מלכוסי בחייכון וביומכון ובחיי דכל בית ישראל בגלה בזמן קורי ויאמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבה מבורך לעולם לעלמא יתברך וישתבח ויספר וישרומם ויסנשא ויסהדר ויסעלה ויסהלל שמי דקודשה בריחו לעילה ולעילה כל ברכסה ושירסה תושבך אתה Rabbi Alma Vimero. Amen. Amidah can be found on page 19. זכרנו לחיים מלך חפץ החיים מקבל מספר החיים ומעין חלום החיים מלך עושה בשם שבס הזה וסיום הזיכרון הזה יום זיכרון ביחד. שלום טוב. as we enter into this high holiday season, it's so vital for us to have a sense that whatever we can do individually, we can't match what we can do collectively. That we need one another to release one another. That it is through these connections and this singing and these words that we enter into a space where there can be hatara, there can be permission, a releasing of vows and promises made long ago, or maybe not too long ago. And even though Yom Kippur is when this prayer arrives in our machzor, this prayer, again set to music by Ariel's heart and her soul, it has a powerful message for us at the beginning of this journey. Please join when you get it.
על דת המקום ועל דת הקהל בשבעה של מעלה ובשבעה של מטה על דת המקום ועל דת הקהל בשבעה של מעלה ובשבעה של מטה אנו מתירים להתפלל עם העבריינים על דת המקום ועל דת הקהל בשבעה של מעלה ושבעה של מטה על דת המקום ועל דת הקהל בשבעה של מעלה ובשבעה של מטה אנו מתירים להתפלל עם העבריינים אנו
My brother-in-law shared a joke a bit with me today, a little bit bad news. He said the worst thing he could ever hear a rabbi say is, "We're going to come back to that." But we're going to come back to that. Anu matirin להתפלל עם העבריינים. We tell ourselves as we arrive at Yom Kippur that solidarity and unity is more important than anything else, yeah? That being together with one another and being able to join forces together to lift one another up, to be greater than the sum of our parts, that's the key, yeah? Otherwise, we're with sinners, right? But we have to change our perspective, because when we say that, who do we mean? We're not saying you. I give myself permission to be with you as a sinner. We're saying all of us together are vulnerable, all of us together are fragile, all of us together arrive with our humanity exposed. There's no suit that you could buy, no jewelry that you could wear or makeup that you could put on that would ever in any way, shape, or form hide the truth of your humanity as you show up in the full beauty of your reality, of who you are. So we wanted to let that sink in now, not wait until Yom Kippur. Let's start now thinking about that. But before we go deeper on that, let's just talk about seating, because we had to get seating out of the way here. Talk about seating. Because there's something about seating on the high holidays that's vital. Many a synagogue has broken apart because of seating. True? I'm seeing some like, yeah, of course, yeah, I know. Every shul has every synagogue has the places where you sit. And in fact, now that I'm at the 92nd Street Y, there's a big controversy over there because this year is the first year where they don't have assigned seating. I mean, for me, when I went to Israel for the first time and I found out that you went into a movie theater and there were assigned seats, it was a shock. It was a culture shock. You have to, because otherwise they'll fight, chaos, it's crazy. So seats are like such a big deal. And getting the right seat is a big deal. Like you have to, when Romemu, before we got to this space and we were up on 105th Street for the high holidays, people would get there early and put like 5 prayer shawls over an entire row. You gotta make sure you have the best seat in the house. Even in a place like this where every seat is a good seat, you gotta have the best seat in the house. So seating is so vital. I mean, you get on an airplane, the first thing they want to tell you is, do you want to move? Do you want to upgrade your seat? So no, I'm really great. I have a great seat. No, but you can get more leg room. Everything is like seats. Anybody here was anybody at the US Open this year? So one of my favorite things at the US Open was to go to the US Open and you start wherever you start. I mean, some of you might have started in the right place, but I would start wherever I was starting. And hopefully by the end of the match, I was near courtside. Anybody? I know I'm the only one. I know, I'm the only one. Is the camera on? I mean, wait a second. Seats are getting the right seat is key. On Rosh Hashanah, we talk about seating too. From a theological perspective, the image of a seat is a vital trope in Rosh Hashanah. We sit here today after much preparation and waiting, expectation. Maybe some of you came running to Rosh Hashanah, maybe some of you came limping, maybe some of you came dragged and pulled by someone. But you arrive at Rosh Hashanah, and we have a whole slew of experiences and images that color our ideas of what the high holidays are all about. At the core of what this thing is all about, what you're doing here tonight is something that many of you are already doing in your lives, hopefully. And that's this thing called tshuva. Teshuvah or tshuva. It means many different things. In modern Hebrew, it means having an answer. Unfortunate because the process of tshuva is usually more about questions than answers, more about a beginning of a conversation than about the ending of one. The word tshuva is also connected to the word to return, lashuv, or hashava, to give back something that belongs to someone, to return a lost object. Teshuvah in the religious sense is usually translated as repentance, but that has a really negative connotation and valence. And for the mystics in our tradition, tshuva is attunement, to become attuned, to become aligned, to come out of a story that's not true, to become closer to what is reality. Teshuvah is healthy, say the mystics. The soul wants to return to its place connected to God. Teshuvah is bari, healthy. And for many of the mystics, teshuvah is also the movement of the divided self towards a more whole self. A wholeness that includes divisions and ruptures, successes and failures. Wholeness and wholeheartedness are those states of being that form the underpinnings of courage, and courage is what it takes to do tshuva. It's not easy to make a change. It's not easy to be honest. And it's often not easy to be willing to give up your seat. It's not easy. Imagine somebody taps you on the shoulder here and says, "Excuse me, but would you mind moving over there? I've been sitting here for a long time. I got here early." The image of someone being moved from a chair is the prime image. It's the central image in the Gemara when the Talmud talks about what we're trying to do on Rosh Hashanah to God. In the imagery of the Talmud, God is sitting on kisei of din, like a judge sitting in the courtroom with a gavel. This image of our kind of throwing ourselves at the feet of the judge. The judge is all-powerful, all-knowing. That's an image that they use. And the work of Rosh Hashanah, say the mystics and say the rabbis, is to move God from kisei hadin to kisei rachamim. To move God from the seat of judgment to the seat of compassion. God has this good seat. We can call it karma, or the seat of cause and effect. The seat of strict justice says, no room here for compassion, no room here for generosity, no room here, only justice. But we try to awaken in God a sense of looking at us through an eye of forgiving and seeing how hard it's been for us, how difficult. And in many ways, that movement in God is a movement here in us. How do we move ourselves from our seats of judgment? How do we move ourselves from our seats of criticism, of cynicism, of despair, of it won't work again, I'm here, I've done the same thing over and again, here I am, Lord, knocking on your door with my same stuff. Is change possible? Even before we walk into our church, synagogue, church, whatever we're here in, we are already before the throne of judgment in our own heart mind. And so getting here is a big deal. Coming back tomorrow will be a bigger deal. To feel with someone is compassion. We ask God to feel with us, to be with us. Anne Lamott, people know Anne Lamott, the great author Anne Lamott. Yeah, love her. She writes, how come you can hear a chord and then another chord and then your heart breaks open? Like in this, right? You hear it when, Anu Matirin, like it's like, ah. The whole movement of these 10 days is to get our heart to crack open, to move from the seat of judgment, of all-knowing, of passing judgment on someone sitting next to you, on someone sitting behind you, on someone sitting behind the Zoom, someone at your home, someone in your past, someone who hasn't yet come into your life, to move us from a seat that says criticism, insufficiency, scarcity. That's the movement of Rosh Hashanah. And so we project it onto the world, say, God, you move from the judgment seat. And God says, how about you? Let's see you. You gonna give up your seats over there? You got box seats, it's great. You're judging everyone. You know every answer to every solution. And the only reason you're here in shul this year is to make sure the rabbi says exactly what you already thought. Oh good, he gave the sermon about Israel that I needed to hear because they need to hear it too. So Rosh Hashanah is like, how movable are you? Like, should we just get up and move seats right now? Should we just do that? Just like, okay, no, I'm kidding. Some of you are thinking, oh no, I'm definitely not moving. Some of you are like, oh, it's a great prop in a sermon, but like, I'm not going. Moving from one perspective to another, being able to take ourselves literally and figuratively and move and try out a new mind every year. Compassion mind. So I guess this is the work of Rosh Hashanah that Mark Nepo writes about when he writes, compassion as feeling with another would have justice remove her blindfold and put her scales down. Perhaps instead she might stand between the violated and the violator with a hand on each of their hearts, deeply listening. Have people watched the show The Bear? Some of you, yeah. I'll never forget this moment where if people have not seen the show, just for a moment, I'm going to talk about it more on Yom Kippur, but the protagonist of the show, this amazing character, is carrying a lot of pain, a lot of suffering, a lot of wounds, a lot of story. And he's bringing it forward into his situation as a very talented restaurateur, very talented chef. And at one point, he acts in a way that he knows he shouldn't be acting towards this very talented chef that's working with him. And he says to her, in sign language, when you make a mistake, you do this, right? Forgive me, right? And haven't we said here for years, in the name of many of my teachers and others, that when we finally arrive at Yom Kippur and we do the confession, we're not beating our chest, but saying open, hey, me too, me too. Yeah, I sometimes fall like that too, me too. It's not easy to stay in alignment as often as possible. All of our instruments will be out of tune tomorrow morning. We'll have to retune, and we get one 10-day period a year to move from the judgment seat to the mercy seat, from a place where we are from the outside and move to a seat where we are both on the inside. So I don't know if you'll be coming back tomorrow and you'll sit in the same spot. I don't know. I certainly wish that I could come sit with you. We're kind of sitting here and you're sitting there, I don't feel that way. I feel like we're all sitting together in some remarkable way. This isn't a performance. I sometimes call it a pray-formance, but it isn't any of that. It's just all of us gathering together to see what it might feel like to upgrade our seat. From the seats in judgment section and move our way up into the more expansive room for your legs space called compassion, right? What might that look like? How long could you sit there before judgment would arrive and say, it's time to go back. Let's check your tickets. The beautiful thing about moving from the seat of judgment to the seat of compassion is that there's enough room in that section for everybody. And you can always come back. And so Hashem, in her blessing for us, the Shekhinah, the holy space of compassion that is infinite, that infinite archetype and presence says to us, each and every one of us, B'yeshiva shel mala, by the heavenly court, and also here below. All of us are in it together. Anu matirin, we release when we move together towards compassion. If by the end of Rosh Hashanah you feel your heart a little bit more open, more willing to look at what your life might need and what might be needed with others, then you're doing the work. If by the end of Yom Kippur you've already, your heart's wide open, you say to yourself, wow, God, let me sit in compassion seats as often as possible, then that's also the work. So al dat kahal, with your permission, al dat makom, and through the permission of the Most High, the one in all of us who unites us and binds us together. Let's sing one more time with Ariel. Al dat makom, the al dat kal, and sing it. It's Shabbos.
על דעת הקהל, בשבעה של מעלה ובשבעה של מטה, על דעת המקום ועל דעת הקהל, בשבעה של מעלה ובשבעה של מטה, אנו מתירים להתפלל עם העבריינים על דעת המקום ועל דעת הקהל, בשבעה של מעלה ושבעה של מטה, על דעת המקום ועל דעת הקהל, בשבעה של מעלה ושבעה של מטה, אנו מתירים להתפלל עם העבריינים.
Please rise from your seats. The Aleinu can be found in page. Aleinu לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי ארצות.
ושמנו עם משפחות הדם,
ששם חלקנו עמהם
וגורלנו ככל עם.
77. ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא שיעורת שמה ויעשה למשה גם השכינה בגבי ורוממו אלוהינו אינו נאמן לא כאילו והשבותה Please remain standing if you are remembering a loved one tonight or in mourning. The mourner's Kaddish can be found on page 80. Throughout the high holidays, we'll be lifting up the names of loved ones, and because of the number of people here, our general custom of going one by one would be a bit onerous on everyone, but I want to just make sure that everybody's voice can be heard. So please turn to someone who's close to you and say the name out loud of someone that you're saying the Kaddish for tonight, so that everybody can hear someone's name being said. We also bring to heart and mind those who are in the Zoom Agog with us as well, who are home and who are writing the names of loved ones into the chat. If it is your custom to stand for the mourners, please rise at this moment, again on page 80. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shmei Rabbah, Bi'olma divrach chiruteh, Yamlich malchuteh, B'chayecho, Ba'agala
בזמן קריב ואמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבה מבורך לעולם ולעלמי עלמיה. יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא. ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי לקודשה בריחו.
לעילה ולעילה מכל ברכתה ושירתה, תושבחתה ונחמתה,
תענרן בעלמה ואמרו אמן. יהי שממה רבה משמיה, וחיים עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו אמן.
עושה שלום במרומיו, ויעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ועל כל יושבי תבל ואמרו אמן. Yehi Zichram Baruch. Please rise for a moment as we recite Psalm 27, customarily said during the month of Elul and then Tishrei, page 81. Page 81 in the middle of the page. Achad Sha'alti.
אחת שאלתי בית אדוני אותה אבקש. אחת שאלתי בית אדוני אותה אבקש. שבתי בית אדוני
Adi Bibak Shvanai. Luleihem anti lirot b'tuv Adonai B'eretz Chayim Yalla Adonai Chazak b'mitzvech b'tuv Ay 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 A short service on Erev Rosh Hashanah is normal. We hope that we satisfied that norm. It had all your basic nutrients in it. It's good. You can go home and eat. Lechu, ichlu, as it says in the book of Nehemiah. Go eat, and b'simcha lachnechem. You enjoy your bread tonight. A couple of very brief announcements. There they are. That's it. That's all we got. But I will say a huge number of thanks tonight, because doing services here at Redeemer is a huge undertaking from the Romemu staff, and it's remarkable. Victor and Blanca and Lenore and Freddie and Kenya and Ethan and Mo, our entire team, Jeffrey, of course, we'll get to in a second, they schlepped all of our things, including our ritual objects. Everything was schlepped down. That's already hard enough, but get this, we have to schlep it back up on Sunday. Because, of course, Redeemer has their services here Sunday, so Sunday services will be up at our normal church, not our away church. We're at the home church. Not many communities can say that they have two churches for a home. It's amazing. That's the church I go to and the one that I don't go to. So we have to take everything back on Sunday. So they're going to be here till wee hours of the morning tomorrow on Saturday night. So just want to, if you see them, thank them. If you see them, thank them. So if you work here at Romemu, we thank you. And it's the whole team, the moderators for Eden and Jeffrey, of course, our executive director, and our Deborah Pastor, our remarkable communications person. This beautiful ensemble is so prayerful. They are not musicians over Rosh Hashanah. They are shlichei tzibur. They're davening leaders in every sense of the word. Without Nadav, there is no Chagim. Without Nadav, there's no Romemu Chagim. So, huge thanks to Shimon Smith. Those of you who have not met Shimon, this is your opportunity to say hi to Shimon, because Shimon goes underground tomorrow to lift up the entire youth and family wing of the Romemu community. So he's been hardworking with Noah to make youth and family at Romemu really dynamic, exciting. And he also, as a side gig, does our musical direction at Romemu. So huge thanks to Shimon, and his mother's here from Israel, which is awesome. Welcome, and it's so good to have you. We have, of course, all around, we have, Daniela Ori and Judah Goldman and Shoshana Jedwab and Claudia Sachs and Jonathan, who was here for the first time with us. Thank you so much. And of course, Ariel Korman. It's just an amazing thing to be witness to this, the beauty of your spirit and your music, and we're lifted by it, and your voice and your presence. So we're so lucky, aren't we? We're really blessed. So just also, if you see somebody who works at on the Romemu board, now's a good time to say thank you for working for this community tirelessly. So Jonathan Fassberg, our co-chair of the board, and Stacy Levine, who was here. I saw Stacy. And just throughout the Chagim, if you see somebody and you know that they're working for the Romemu community, thank them for all the hard work that they're putting in to make this place. And board members, you'll see board members. I can't see anything because the lights are on, but I thought I saw Richard up there, and a board member. I thought I saw Heidi's here, board members. If you're a board member, raise your hand so I don't wind up missing anybody because I can't see anything. If you're a board member, okay, David is here, of course, David and Maggie Jacobs. And John, I'm looking, John and Judy. I mean, these are the people that make this possible. And Jeremy Rosenshine, I can't see anything. Jeremy, so you're not raising your hand. Raise your hand. Okay, so last thing, what's your homework tonight? Did anybody get homework? You're gonna move from the seat of, you're changing seats. Okay, changing seats. Let's make Kiddush together, everybody, on page 76. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech olam, borei pri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech olam, asher bachar banu mikol ha'am, romanu im kol lashon asher kivan la'avodato. Is that the nusach for Rosh Hashanah, or is that it? It is, right? All right, is that the nusach? Not sure. Okay, we'll go with it. Okay. Yeah, that's what it's doing. Okay, good. אשר וקידשו מצוותיו ותיתן לנו ביחד יום השבת הזה ויום הזיכרון הזה, יום זיכרון תשועה, באהבה מקרא קודש זכר ליציאת מצרים, כי הבנו בחרת ואותנו קידשת כל העמים, ודברך אמס וקיים לעד. ברוך אתה אדוני, מקדש השבת בישראל ויום הזיכרון. On the bottom of the page, join me with this amazing Shechianu. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam,
שהחיינו וקיימנו והגיענו בזמן הזה. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם, שהחיינו וקיימנו והגיענו בזמן הזה.
וידע כל פעול כי אתה פעלתו, ויבין כל יצור כי אתה יצרתו. איי ליי ליי איי איי איי